Hey, I want to speak to you today on the lesson that we gave out of the book of Revelation, or the letter of Revelation to all Christians. It was lesson number 16, and we were talking towards the end of chapter 5 of Revelation, where the word harp was used and harpers were played. There are two ways to look at that. I know I said it looked more like there were no instruments there being used, physical ones. But, even if people took it to mean that there were real instruments being used there under the New Testament, we see a lot more instruments being used than we do in the Old Testament. But hence we see, but even though that's even though the case is true, we don't know exactly what the harper meant. Like, we don't know. I tend to lean more that it was a cappella praise without the presence of music to add ambience to the singing, but. I was raised up in a Church of Christ where where everybody sang and there were instruments in there and people were praising God and giving glory to God with the music that they were playing on instruments, and people were singing harmoniously to God too as well and having a good time, as well as what I've seen in non-instrumental Church of Christ, which are a lot of Church of Christ that are more non-instrumental than they are ones that have the presence of instruments during the service. So when I say non-instrumental, I mean, they are non-instrumental because they do not have the presence of man-made or electronic man-made instruments like keyboards and clavolis and things like that. But, even if they do, there's nothing wrong, because the interpretation of what it says in the Bible could mean that there may have been, or there may have been instruments there. But I tend to lean more that there wasn't in this case where it's mentioned where the harpers were used in the Revelation. It's just talking about getting up and singing praise melodically without any instruments of man-made by the hands of man. And so that's what I do believe. That's what was being said there in the book of Revelation. Either way you take it, it's not wrong, because it could mean that, because we're not really sure exactly totally what those harpers represent. We can only assert that it meant the same like it meant in the Old Testament. But you remember, this was written in a New Testament book, which happened to be the last book of the Testament, which is Revelation. So it could mean it could have both connotations of meaning. You see, non-church instrumental Church of Christ, or doctrine that has been split, where they split off of instrumental Church of Christ, have instruments as a part of the worship service, and this has happened over 150 to 175 years ago. And so, if you look, I don't know if you noticed for thought, but there's a lot more churches of Christ that don't use instruments as accompaniment with their worship service than those that do. But however you see it, I don't see anything wrong with it, because you can sing in unison, and if you're not singing with a worthy heart of praise, it can still be wrong too, just like an instrument can be. So it all depends on how you use it, see, and that's really what it's all about. And I just wanted to say a little bit of information to give you a little bit more heads up, because I don't know if I was that clear, because, me, I think instruments ought to be in the building, because that's what it's for, and, so I hope, this helps you, and, I hope that people will listen and learn, and we'll all learn together as we chat, and as we talk, and if you come here, we have a real good discussion program, and you can ask questions to discuss, all the questions you want to do with the lesson that we're doing, to your little heart's content. So there's nothing wrong with asking questions. I mean, you don't learn anything without asking questions, and you sure don't learn anything if you don't check things out for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Do the research just like I have. I'll see you later. I hope this helps people to understand the meaning surrounding the harpers that is recorded in the last part of Revelation, chapter 5. Remember, next week we'll be doing lesson 17 out of the book or letter of Revelation, so stay tuned. I'll see you then. Bye for now. Subscribe down below and tell us what you know. Love you.